It's day 142 of the Stop the Diabetic Insanity journey. I really should come up with a shorter title because that gets harder and harder to say every week, being how long it is. It's been a very enlightening week, and I think I'm really starting to really understand how to really progress along this weight loss journey slash healing journey of mine. Um, as I mentioned before, I've been reading Deepak Chopra. And I've actually, for quite some time, and I haven't really gotten into it because I bought the book last year. Just like many books I own, I tend to leave them on the shelf. And I bought this book for $1, and it's called Quantum Healing by Deepak Chopra. And he discusses that the observer effect, you know, um, that thing about you know the 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 wave particle, and how do we actually heal through through the quantum field. And without going through all the complicated science of it all and physics, it really comes down to allowing the universe to come through you, to heal you and put you in a place where you need to be. And that's through making yourself a lot less dense, both emotionally and physically. And that's no easy feat, obviously. That takes a lot of work and change in your thinking and your paradigm, the way you view reality. And the way I see it is, really, a lot of it comes down to um, changing my thoughts about my life and not getting so involved in the very dense emotions. So the dense emotions, the negative things that come up, the anger, the unforgiveness, the not being able to let go. These emotions actually sit in our body and actually become disease. The most obvious one is cancer, because really there's cells just becoming and gathering together and becoming more and more dense until it becomes something in your body that shouldn't be there. For me personally, it was diabetes. I stored all my emotions in my torso area instead of learning how to express them, letting them go. I had no outlet back then for releasing my inner pent up anger and frustrations, and so I just store them up, and I wouldn't even release it physically. I wouldn't even go to the gym and or take a run. I would just store it up, store it up, store it up, store it up until it actually became physical weight. And then I put on weight, and then it became diabetes. And you know, these things can happen, and people can say all sorts of things like, "Oh, it was just bad luck," or "It was just genetics," and you can put it down to that. It wasn't your fault. It's not your fault. And spiritually, that's not really the right terminology to talk about it. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to manage your life and manage your health and manage this body that you own. And people really, I think people who are in the health field, they really overlook how large the emotions, what a large role the emotions play in your health. And that's not just about managing stress. It really is about recognizing, acknowledging that you have these emotions. These emotions do come up. And there is a reality, and many scientific studies back this up, that the emotions do become something in your body. And that if you don't release them, you don't deal with them, you don't release them, you don't even acknowledge them, they will become disease. So quantum healing actually deals with this quite directly by saying, look, how are you going to make yourself less dense to become more like the divine self, where you're fully healed? How are you going to do this? For me personally, it comes down to dealing with the emotions and the stress better than what I have before. So when it comes up, when the emotions come up, dealing with it fairly quickly and releasing the negative impact of it. So whether that's the anger, the rage, the toxic shame, seeing it, observing that it is for what it is, and not necessarily taking an action, but really just looking at it. And they say in physics, particularly, this is backed up by the double slit experiment. As soon as you observe something, the conditions change, and then the thing that you're observing becomes something else. So I feel that it's about changing the reality. So sometimes this is why I keep on saying, I just hold back. I step back and I just look at things. I look at things, and really what changes is my perception of the object, of the situation. And that really changes and lightens up my feelings inside. But I also apply this to other things in my life too, like, when things come up and, for example, someone cancels, or, I can't meet up with someone, or, there's an upsetting situation, or, challenging situations that become challenging emotions. I just tend to just hold back my judgment and just look at, how I would normally react. And then I look at how I'm actually reacting to the situation in the present moment. And when I hold back and I just relax a little bit and let go and ease the tension, miraculous things happen. Like yesterday I decided, I actually made an active decision. Again, this comes back to my mindfulness practice. I decided that I wouldn't overstress myself. I would actually just take a day to relax a little bit. I could have done at least 3 or 4 other things yesterday because it was a rare day off during the week and I need that time to do things. But, the weather wasn't that great yesterday. We were on the verge of a thunderstorm in Melbourne in the evening. It was pretty overcast. And, I actually made it okay to not overdo things. And, yeah, things could have happened, could have gone out last night. But I decided, you know what, you're pretty comfy here. You can read your Amy Tan biography. You can snuggle up in the covers and make yourself feel good and really enjoy the moment that you've got in a time of rare moment of solitude. Really relish what that actually feels like. That's what my higher self was saying. And because I was making myself feel okay with it, the emotions inside weren't anywhere near as dense as they normally would be. Normally they'd be quite dense, quite challenging. And amazingly, I was going to do one of these videos last night and did my makeup in the bathroom. As soon as I got back to my bedroom, got a call from my very good friend Abby in New Zealand. My very dear friend Abby, who I absolutely adore. And we just spent hours on the phone just talking. And, she comes from that period of my life where I was drinking, where the people that we knew were in that scene. And it's really quite refreshing and quite comforting to know that someone actually shares my feelings on some of those situations, and seeing things the same way. And Abby and I are very similar in a lot of respects, and I miss her dearly and I love her dearly. And she fully even though she's in another country, she fully supports me on my journey and keeps up to date of these video logs. And so, what would have happened if I was out or decided to do something else or didn't even come back in the bathroom on time? Would I have actually picked up the phone? So quantum physics actually opens, when you start studying quantum physics and quantum healing, it actually opens you up to what we call the possibilities, the multiverse. And then you start to experience life in a much larger way. And you feel the joy inside of possibilities that could happen. So instead of you being stuck in a certain paradigm where you want things a certain way, you're more open to really great things happening. You know, I call it surprise me. I'm open to it. That's what I call it. Because that's what you're saying to the universe. I'm getting out of your way. Surprise me. And I'm going to apply this to my weight loss journey. That I'm just going to open up my body to being lighter. And I don't just mean that with less food. That's a big part of it, yes. But just opening up my body to how the universe can express itself through me. And it's already doing the work. I can see it on my face. And people are just commenting on how good I look. And I'm pretty much at exactly the same weight I was 3 months ago. Nothing has changed weight-wise in that sense, in that reality. But as in terms of quantum healing and people's perceptions of what's going on in that sense, things have really changed because my energy is shifted. It's shifting. All that negativity, that toxicity that was building up, I was once wearing on my body and my face and my energy field is shifting out of my body. And I really want to attribute this to the weight I have lost so far and the weight I will lose in a short period of time, in time to come. So I'm just going to leave it here. It's the weekend. It's apparently quite rainy in Melbourne this weekend after much heat during the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take it easy, probably write another blog post, so I'll keep you updated. Have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.